Good evening. Hi.
Hi, Kenneth.
Hi, sorry, a little bit delayed there. Anyway.
Hi, Kenneth.
Hi, how you doing? How's everyone?
Great.
Good.
Great.
Bit of a silly
Hi,
question to
Kenneth.
ask a big room full of Zoom people, but anyway. So there's nothing to get, there's nothing to know. This is not a teaching. This is a sharing, a description. And it's nobody is being addressed here. No person, no separate individual is being spoken to. It's a sharing from nothing of another possibility and possible way of seeing, but not for you, not for the person. And it's very simple. It's very ordinary. It's the seeing that there is only nothing being everything and everything being nothing, which is only whatever appears to happen. It's very, very simple. There's only whatever appears to happen. So right now, there's a sensation of sitting on a chair, there's speaking, there's a screen, there's sound, there's whatever is arising. And that's all there is. And in that then, it appears that people feel that there's what's appearing to happen and there's them. So there's life and there's them with their life. And there's a really lived feeling of being in the body. It's not an idea or a thought, it's an embodied sense of feeling separate. It's not a goal here for that to fall away or that not to be or anything like that, because from this perspective there is already no separate person. There's only energy, which is nothing being everything. So if there's a question, there's no smart questions or silly questions or anything. It doesn't matter if there's this is energetic. What's being shared here is totally energetic. It's a resonance. And if there's something that's there to be asked, it's there to be asked. Or if there's a comment, the best way to go about it is to put your hand up in the chat, and I'll see it there, and we'll do it that way. William, surprise.
I know, I just thought I'd be a bit unpredictable today.
Yeah.
How are you, Kenneth?
Good. How are you?
I'm okay, thanks. But the question I was going to ask is, why can there be so much fear and anxiety listening to this communication?
That's just what appears to happen. I mean, this is not a communication that the person wants to hear. The person isn't being spoken to here at all. So this is spelling the end of for the person. This is the death of the individual, the apparent individual, and that's not something that the individual is going to be very comfortable with. So usually individuals hate this message, absolutely hate it, don't go anywhere near it, really reject it outright. Another way to reject it is to kind of integrate it or know it, turn it into something that it isn't. If there's a sense of fear arising, then that's what's appearing to happen. And it is that sense of fear that's arising. That sense of fear is it. Whereas the person would feel that the sense of fear is, when I get over this sense of fear, then I'll hear what Kenneth is saying. Then there'll be oneness, because this sense of fear can't be it. it's
Yeah.
already everything. It's already whatever appears to happen is already it. The person continually kind of pulls in pleasure and pushes away pain and discomfort. So anything unpleasant, generally the person would feel, well, it's not, that's not it.
Yeah, that's right. When you said it's kind of, this spells out the end of the person, that sort of sense of the threat of the person's death is purely energetic, isn't it? It's nothing to do with listening to the words.
Well, it's what's been said here is about the end of you. So that feels like a separate you or a separate person finds that very confronting.
Yeah, terrifying. But I can't, well, you just said it is the fear, because I was going to say I can't talk myself out of the fear rationally.
Well, you don't need to talk yourself out of anything. That's what's appearing to happen. Fear is what's appearing to happen. There you go.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks. Did my journaling illuminate the blocking of self-illusion? No, this is nothing to do with anything that the person appears to do or not do. Anything at all. It's irrelevant. It can just be obvious that there's just what appears to be, that there's no separation anywhere, and there never was. So anything that the person appears to do before that is irrelevant. Doesn't matter, because the person wasn't doing that anyway, and it's already the case that there's no body. And it's very, very obvious. It's too obvious. That's the problem. It's too obvious for the person. It's already openly the case. It's open and obvious that there's just energy. And in that, then that sense of separation can appear to happen. The belief that anything could ever be different is illusory. Well, I just say it's a belief. Like, I mean, the person has a belief that things are the way they are, but they could be better. Or they could, if I had that made a different decision back then, it would be different, so on. And what I would say that is just, that's just an idea. It's just a thought. That's all it is. Everything is complete as it is. Couldn't be any other way. For the person, it could be a different way. It could be better. And some things didn't go so well. Some things did go well. Blah blah blah. It's all a story. It's all a big narrative. That the person is a narrative. It is a story, and the person lives that lived story of, I was born, this happened to me, and this happened to me, and this happened to me, and then I died. Maybe a few more things than that happened, but it's a linear journey from birth to death. That's the way the person experiences life, and everything is causal. One thing leads to another and another and another, and it's in time and space, and I have choice, and in that, the choices I make mold or bring about the life that I have. That's the story, and we're fed that at all points. We're fed that, continually fed that story, that you are a separate person with choice, and it's your life. Go make something of it, so on. This is a different suggestion. This is a different communication. It's a very radical one, actually, that is saying that there is no you there, and there never has been. Nothing is going to fall away there, because there's no you to fall away. There's only what appears to be, which is nothing being everything already. And when you feel like a person, when you feel like a separate person, there's a yearning for something, and that yearning is for wholeness. It's actually not for getting something or attaining something or knowing something. It's for a loss of that sense of self, that sense of separate self. And then some people try and bring around that loss, or to drop that separate self somehow by doing one thing or another. That's not what's being suggested here. What's being said is there is no you there that can do or not do anything. It's already the case that there's no separate you. So mowing the lawn is just mowing the lawn. Yeah, pretty much. Everything is just everything, it's indescribable actually. Everything is and isn't. Everything is nothing and nothing is everything. So whatever you pick, mowing the lawn, driving the car, walking down the road, talking, whatever, the person, what they do is they add themselves to everything. So there's mowing the lawn and they feel I'm mowing the lawn, I'm driving the car, I'm walking down the road. So there's just walking down the road and then you add yourself to it. I'm walking down the road. And it feels real then that there's a person in there. So if I was felt like a person, it would feel like I'm talking now. But in fact, there's just speaking and there's just sense of me is added to that. And it's totally artificial. The person is in the real, you could say. So the person lives apparently in the real. Everything is real. I'm a real person in a real world. This is really happening to me. That's a real tree over there. That's a real car. Da 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 da. Um, all these things are objects to my subject, and that's an unsatisfactory reality. There's something very dissatisfying in it because things aren't seen actually as they actually are, and they can't be. They're imprisoned apparently in that dynamic of you and the object, and it's very dissatisfying. And there's an agitation in that, for everything just to be nothing, and nothing is everything, which is already the way it is. Yes, it doesn't feel like a person is mowing the lawn, it just gets done. Yeah, that's the same for everything. There's nobody here now sitting on the Zoom call. There's nobody sitting in any of the seats looking at any screen. There's just energy, which is nothing being everything. Already there is nobody. See you, Maureen. Hi, Larry.
All right. It seems the more one listens to this radical message, the more the sense of separation, and
That's
the
what's
more
happening. That's what's happening there. Then
the more suffering.
that's what's
Yeah.
That's what's appearing to happen there. Then
Yeah.
that's also a story.
So
That's a cause and effect. Like
yeah.
that's a story. That the more I listen to this, the more suffering. The more I'm suffering. That's all
Mhm.
just a total story. There's no you there that's listening to this. There's no you there. You didn't even just speak there. There's just whatever appears to happen.
So then a sense of paralysis happens.
Mm,
It's also it.
maybe. There's nothing that isn't it. There's only energy, which is nothing being everything. So everything is already whole.
Yeah.
Mm,
Thanks.
thanks. Didn't hardly recognize you without the beard.
Who?
You.
No, I've never had a beard.
Did you never have a beard?
No.
That's a different Larry, I'm thinking now. A different
Yeah,
iPhone Larry.
different. Well, longer hair maybe, but not a beard.
Oh, well, you've done something, you've scrubbed up.
So the sense of paralysis is what's happening, and there's nothing can be done about that either. It's yeah,
When you say paralysis, what do you mean?
can't do anything. Can't go forwards. Can't go backwards. Can't go
Yeah, yeah.
sideways.
Yeah, that's what's appearing to happen then, yeah.
Like all distractions have dropped away as well. So all I'm left with is this.
Hmm. But
And
there is no you and this. You're not
no,
left with anything. You're not there to be left with anything. There's already just whatever appears to be, which is nothing being everything.
okay. Thanks.
Thanks. What's the free will documentary I mentioned? I can't remember what's the name of it. It was on BBC, I think. It could have been just called "Do We Have Free Will?" There's been a few now, anyway. Oh, my question is, what does real mean? Real means real, man. I don't know. I'm not getting into semantics. Real, if real is real, unreal is unreal. I'm not breaking down words semantically. It's not about understanding or knowing. Not breaking down. Real means real. Christiane.
Hello, Kenneth.
Hiya.
Hi. So my question is also about real. When you said real and unreal, I understand that it's not solid. Like if I feel sometime I feel a pain, but I sense that it's not heavy. It's like kind of floating, or it's an energy, but it's not. I am not grasping it, or I'm not stuck with it. So real. When if I'm feel very real, it's solid. It's not. It's heavy. It's
There can be a heaviness to it, yeah. Yeah, a sense of real, like the person feels real, everything that they feel like they're a real person who's living, and that's everything is an object to them, and it's really a separate object, it's a thing. So everything is solid in that sense. So the emptiness of everything is not possible to be seen from that perspective of the person. The no thing can't be seen. So it feels really that I'm somebody who's looking at something else. So that's what I mean by this sense of living in the real. In actuality, everything is nothing and nothing is everything. So that sense of being a person is like living in the real, is like a half alive kind of thing. And something seems to be missing because the emptiness can't be seen. And it's not you then that sees the emptiness. It's not the person that sees the emptiness. It's that sense of being a person, that subject is no longer there. So there's no object to be seen. There is no object to be seen, and everything is just energy. Everything is nothing and nothing is everything. It's very, very ordinary. It's just already the case that that's how it is already. And then instead of me looking at the tree, I always pick the tree for some reason. It's the go-to example. The tree. Instead of me looking at the tree, probably because it's a tree right outside my window, there's just life treeing. There's just life treeing. So it's the exact same, and it's indescribably different because there's no longer that sense of you looking at a tree. Everything is just obviously boundless and free and unknowable. And it's amazing. Stunning. It's beyond words. It can't be described. And it's so ordinary. It's so ordinary. Because it's already the case, you see. It's already just nothing being everything.
But when I'm feeling myself as a real person, there's no wow, there's no
everything is kind of secondhand and stale a little bit as a person. There's something, because of course it is, because there is there is nothing and everything, and then there's this sense of a me which filters everything. It's like life is pouring through this filter of me, and the newness and everything can't be seen. Everything is not new. It's known, because the person is in a closed loop of their own knowing. And actually, everything is totally unknowable. It's totally unknowable. This is completely unknowable. It's so immediately just everything and being nothing and nothing being everything. There's absolutely no possibility of knowing it. And the knowing of it comes from the sense of being separate to it. It's an abstraction. And that's that sense of dissatisfaction that's inherent in feeling like a person. And that's the yearning then for wholeness. And then the big joke is the wholeness that's being yearned for is already just, this is already it. This is the massive paradox. It's already just whatever appears. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter what it is appearing to happen, whether it's pain, pleasure, confusion, clarity, whatever it is, that's already wholeness. And that's already what's yearned for. And then the adventure starts. When you're not there, the adventure really kicks off. And everything's in free fall, and it's stunning. It's not describable at all. It can't be described. Not because it's so fireworky and esoteric and amazing, and it's not like that. It's just ordinary and already just the case. It's already just this. It's nothing to do with the mind. It's nothing to do with any idea you would have of anyone would have of what's been said.
Thank you.
Thanks. Good Mundar.
Hi, Kenneth.
Hey.
There is one thing that is, I've been listening to this message for a long time. And recently, I was this lack of something is missing. No, this sense that something is missing. I've heard it 1,000 times, but suddenly it just. I felt or see what it or I saw it that there is this sense somewhere in this body that something is missing, and it was kind of mind stopper or something for me. It was kind of but the thing. Maybe what I wanted to ask was, can you separate that from the me, the sense of, is the, do you know what I mean?
Can I separate that the sense that something is missing from the me?
You're right.
No, first of all, the sense of me, just to be clear about it, is an artificial thing. It's not real. It's an appearance.
Right.
It's an appearance. So when we're referring to the me, the person feels that the me is real, and that they would think that Kenneth is saying that his sense of me fell away. It didn't actually fall away even, because it was just seen that it never even started. It was never even there. That it appeared to be there. It appeared to be there. So that sense of being a me is simply an energy that seems to arise. It's a contracted energy that you feel in the body. And in that then is a yearning that, or the sense that something's missing, is from that sense of me. It's from that sense that there's a world there and there's a me here, that there's life and there's my life. And from that my life perception, something is not quite right. There's something about the whole gig that just doesn't add up. The whole sense that the harder I work and the better choices I make, that I'm going to get there, because I continually don't get there. I think I'm there. I maybe in a transient way kind of feel like I've arrived, and then I'm searching again. It's always around the next corner. And that sense that things are happening to me, and that sense of all of that lived feeling of feeling separate, is very dissatisfying. It's a hugely dissatisfying perception. And of course it's dissatisfying because it's always the invitation is for you, is that to see that you're not there. Because if it's satisfied, then that would be fine. There really would be a you who can really can make things work,
Right.
you know.
So the whole thing is kind of chasing its tail, going in
Yeah,
a loop.
it's a loop. I always like to
Yeah.
talk about it like a loop. It's like the me is just a closed loop.
Yeah.
And if you imagine in the closed loop of me, the person thinks that they will be able to do something to get somewhere, and all the time that they think that they're somebody who can get somewhere, all they're doing is just feeding the loop. So that's why it's a
Right.
closed loop. It just goes around and around and around like that. But it's
Yeah.
artificial. It's not a real loop. It's an artificial story. It's a story
Yeah, but that is only seen when
when there is no one. It's
Right.
seen by nobody.
Yeah.
That it's seen by nobody. Yeah, which
Right.
is completely incomprehensible. The person
Yeah.
cannot comprehend it, because you see, the person can't comprehend life without them.
Right.
There has to be somebody. There has to be. It's just incomprehensible that there would be anything without a sense of them, because they live. Everything is through them, so it's not imaginable at all.
Right.
And the big joke about that is that you're already not there.
Right.
There
Right.
already is no. Oh, that sense that is there of feeling like a you is already just a story. It's just artificial. It
Yeah.
feels real. It feels very real to the person. It's a lived reality.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was also, when you wake up in the morning, you can see that the brain is constructing and gathering for the first maybe seconds or after you wake up, how your life is.
Yeah,
But
everybody experiences that differently, but some people it's just like a light switch, boom, they're on, you're on.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then others can, I've heard quite a few people saying that when they wake, they can literally feel the building blocks being put into place almost.
Right.
And the
Right.
narrative, almost like the narrative starting to wind up. Here we
Right.
go, get
Yeah.
ready.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. You and me, baby.
Yeah. But the self, the sense of self, right? Does it rise earlier? It is a question that I've been.
No, it seems to become. It's not. See, again, it's not there either. It's
No.
not. It doesn't really arrive in the morning. It doesn't really. It's always just an artificial energy.
Yeah.
But when the body is asleep, that sense of self is in deep sleep. There's nobody.
Right.
So people wonder about death, and they die every night, really, effectively.
Right.
And then when the body wakes up, there's that sense of being a me comes back. It appears to come back. Yeah. And then several times throughout the day, there's no sense of being a me at all.
Right.
But there's no recognition of it. And when there is a recognition of it, it's called an awakening.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So people think an awakening is something special. It's not at all. It's just that it's very obvious there was nobody there then. But even when the me appears to come back and it's not obvious there's someone there, it's the same. There is only literally doing whatever that activity seems to be. And then suddenly they're there doing it. So it's kind of off and on, off and on.
Right. Right. Yeah. Great. Thank you.
Thanks. It's an agitation, is a nice way of putting it. A sense of, and it's reinforced by a sense that I'm aware and I'm conscious. So the person feels conscious of everything that they appear to be doing, and they think that that's somehow the key to what they're looking for, that kind of awareness or consciousness. And it's only an aspect of feeling separate. That's all it is, of no relevance whatsoever. Hi, Victoria. Hiya.
I can just a thought come in. after the meeting, I go, go and I cut my vein because it's so clear. But after I know, I know this no meeting, no me who cut the vein and no
But are you going to
time.
cut the what?
Vein.
Oh, cut the veins. Oh, Jesus, Victoria. You always like the drama.
No, no. Anyway.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say, hello, how are you, Kenneth? No, straight into it. No, there is no meeting, and there is no meeting. There's no.
Yeah, I told you.
You told me, Victoria. Yeah, there's no meeting. Thanks.
And
Thanks
no
for telling
time
me.
and no after meeting
There's
and
no after
no
meeting.
me.
No
No me.
me.
How are you, Kenneth?
Thanks. I'm good, Victoria. Thanks for asking. How are you?
Very good, you see.
Good, good.
I want to cut my vein anyway.
You'd miss next Sunday's meeting then if you did that, Victoria. It wouldn't be good. No, there's no meeting. There's no again, we're coming back to this thing at the beginning that we said. The person feels real and they live in the real. So they feel like they're attending a Zoom meeting and they feel like they're sitting or lying or whatever they're doing and they're watching a screen and they're listening to voices.
Actually, this is the problem. I don't feel real, you know.
Oh, yeah.
I just sometimes I go back to the person and I start to organize the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
So that's why I told you I cut my vein.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that laugh. Anyway, there's no Zoom meeting.
Luckily.
Luckily. There's only energy, which is boundless and unknowable. Oh, hi, Jason.
Hi, Kenneth.
How you doing?
So I'm good. This is really disorienting in a certain way. I mean, there's no you there talking. There's no me here talking, but then there's talking happening.
Talking appears to happen, yeah.
Talking appears to happen. And this, what you call free fall here, feels very disorienting. Like there's nothing to hold on to.
No, it can feel
nothing
disorientating to the person, yeah.
And I can think intellectually that, oh, well, there's no one to be disoriented, right? Or there's nothing to be disoriented. But when that kind of shift happens, when the self that has never happened. It's no longer happening.
Yeah,
It's
no.
like, it's just like everything is happening on its own. There's nobody doing anything. Everything continues on exactly as it's happening. I mean, driving still happens with or without me here. Everything continues on, but there's just this like, it's so disorienting. It's like how it just, my mind boggles and I'm like, try to
Oh, this
grasp
is
onto something.
hands on the wheel, Jason.
Yeah.
Someone says, hands on the wheel. This is totally and utterly beyond the mind. None of this can be understood at all. And it doesn't need to be understood. It's not understandable. It does not need to be understood. It's the person that is in the closed loop of understanding, the closed loop of their own knowing. It's the person that knows. And the person is, the individual is a story. It's artificial. This is
nobody,
totally unknowable, completely. And when this is, when this is seen, it resonates. It just resonates, and boom! It's just, oh my God! It's just seen.
Yeah.
It's just
oh
like,
my God.
it's
like,
yeah. It's so
no
obvious.
one can die because there was never anyone alive in the first place.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, that's so obvious. But then there's this discomfort. There's this discomfort of wanting to hold on to something.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so there's some attempt to like alleviate that discomfort.
Yeah. It's the apparent person that still feels there would feel the discomfort.
Yeah.
It's very unnerving this is a very confronting communication.
Yes,
it's very
it's a very confronting experience.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. This is not a good place for the me to be. This is not a good thing for the me. The me is this is bad news for me. So that's
the me goes in and out.
Isn't being spoken to here, you see, at all, because the me is not recognized as anything but a story. And so therefore, if there's disorientation, that's what appears to happen. It doesn't have any meaning. It doesn't have any significance or meaning. It's just also what appears to happen.
Yes. Well, everything is that way.
Everything is that way, yeah. And everything is nothing, and nothing is everything. So in actuality, there's nothing even happening. There's nothing even happening. Everything is nothing. Nothing is everything. And it's all an appearance. Boom. It's
it's crazy.
Yeah. It's stunning.
But yeah, oh yeah, stunning. That's a good word for it.
And it's not stunning either. And it's not anything. It's not describable.
I mean, everything just happens on its own.
Already, it doesn't even happen. But there's already no separation. There's already no such thing as a separate person. And there never was a separate person, ever. It's all a story.
It's like beautiful and horrible at the same time.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks,
Bye.
Jason. Oh, hi, Larry.
So the sense of separation and enormous suffering and terror and all of that goes on here almost constantly now. It's just building to a massive head, sort of. And then the only time that's not there is when there's wanting it to not be there. So it's either one or the other. So the wanting it to not to be there is also it. Obviously. Nothing can be done.
There's no you there to do or not do anything.
Not do or not do. Yeah. Then it's back to the void.
There's no, this is the void. The void.
I know, that's what I mean. Yeah.
No, but everything is nothing and nothing is everything. It's not that there's this separate thing called the void. You're not back to anywhere because you never left anywhere, because there's only already energy, which is nothing being everything.
Yeah, I don't even know the question I want to ask anymore.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The questions are irrelevant.
Mm.
It doesn't matter. There's nothing to know. There's nothing to get. There's just simply what appears to be happening. And there's no you that is happening to. There never has been.
So mostly what's happening here at the moment is wanting not to be separate.
Okay, that's what's appearing to happen then.
That's what
There's a
appearing
me.
to happen.
There's an apparent me who wants to not be a me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what's appearing to happen.
Yeah. Okay.
Hi, Larry. Hi, Kenneth. Do words make any difference? Not really, no. The words really are mostly irrelevant. I would say that the words, there can be words used that are more confusing. And so there's certain terms that are avoided, and words are pointing towards something, but you can only ever point towards it. So you can't say it. It can't be said. So if it can't be said, the words really are just words. The words are words and they're not words also. Because just like everything is and isn't, which is beyond understanding. Hi, Maria.
Hi. I just wanted to say nice haircut to Larry, and when he was speaking, it really kind of, the way he speaks is so kind of truthful in a way that it brings back some I can kind of picture where he's at, like some sort of a storm or a tunnel or whatever. So I have a pink flower for Larry. I don't know if you guys see it. That's all. And I don't know, somehow there's stormy weather and then something else happened. Right. That's all.
Thanks. I've got nothing for you, Larry. No flowers, nothing.
I kind of knew that's not okay to do, Kenneth, but I really, sometimes, I don't know.
It's what appeared to happen. Why would it be not okay to do? You didn't even do it.
It's just, it makes me sad.
Yeah, I know.
Because
right.
it's like because you remember or I remember
And
similar things.
unconditional love is seeing nothing but wholeness, nothing but energy, which is everything being nothing and nothing being everything. That's unconditional love. Unconditional love is not trying to help somebody or ease suffering for somebody, or that's a different thing.
Yeah, I get it. Thanks again.
Thanks, Maria.
So you've got nothing for me, which is everything.
Yeah, there you go.
So thanks
Nothing
for
is
everything.
Thanks for everything, Kenneth. Thanks for
Nothing.
everything, Kenneth. Who has their hand up?
It's me, Kenneth. Hi,
oh,
Monica.
yeah. Monica,
maybe
yeah,
you,
Monica.
yeah,
Hi, I
hi.
think
Maybe you don't see me because it's too late in my country and I'm in the room with my son, you know, so he's sleeping here. So sorry you don't see me maybe,
Yeah,
but
you're okay. You're fine.
Yeah, okay.
Nice to hear it from you.
Me too, so much, you know, because I was now 3 weeks off, so I didn't hear you. So now I'm happy I can enjoy it. And I would like to ask you something.
You didn't miss much, Monica. You missed
I
nothing.
miss. But I would like to ask you just something, you know. I don't know. Okay, wholeness is everything for sure. Everything what apparently happens. But now I wanted to ask you what I recognize of myself now, you know. If I speak with people or if some people are friends of Facebook or somewhere with me, and now they try to share something about other people who speaks about compassion and that the life is too short and we must be nice each other and that this life is about this. I am becoming sometimes even, I don't mean that I care so much, you know, but I am even allergic of this.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. It's all a story.
Yeah, I do think this is because it's felt somewhere that it's story, because if the people are compassionate or no, even me, I think I don't care. I don't speak about this. It's happened or not. But when they start to speak about this, it really makes me sometimes like not angry, but
yeah, no, there gets to like, see, like all of that is just within the story and it feeds the person, you know, somebody who's open your heart, be compassionate, you know, do all of that stuff. Spirituality.
And it's interesting that my reaction, I don't know whom, this reaction, it's something like, not that I'm angry, but you know, it seems to me like
allergic.
Yes, allergic, and I have to close it because I think why to read this, because it's something like just I cannot say waste of time like just blah blah blah, you know, and
it is blah blah blah,
and feeling that it's only that this sense of person that this person wants to just be like special, you know, like really wants to be better, you know. So sometimes I don't want to speak about this so much, so it's better to leave this you know, for me, because I don't want to say them it's blah blah blah. For me, I don't want to hear it, you know.
Oh yeah, like there's no need to say anything, because there's no it's not as if you need to go in there and tell them that they're doing anything wrong, or because they're not doing anything wrong. There's nothing wrong or right with it. But when it's seen clearly, you know, it can become like there can be like a big an aversion to it, like just cannot listen to it.
I can't really
I could not listen
you know,
to any of them people at all.
And now it's become so strong, more stronger than before, you know. Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Monica.
Thank you very much.
Thanks. Hi, Maria.
So what Monica was just saying is so true, because you can often seem to be really cynical to others, I think, whatever. But I remember when I was really young, like a teenager, and probably a lot in that kind of trying to figure it all out about, you know, humans and what's going on and good and bad and God and all of it. And I remember kind of seeing so clearly that even the good that you're trying to do is for yourself. And that felt like so sad, because if not even that can make you escape that loop, it was just so sad. It was just kind of, you're trapped in this, in a way. You know, I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. It just felt so sad that even the doing of good, so to speak, is also just kind of out
It's
of
sad
selfish to make you feel better, like, oh, I'll do something good so I would feel, it makes me feel better, you know, that connection.
Yeah. It's sad
and
for
it kind of
it's sad
goes
for the
into the same.
person. It's sad for the person. It's sad for the apparent person.
Yeah.
That it would be sad for them if they still felt there that that any sense of helping others was only to help myself. And that's very obvious that that's the case, but so some it's not obvious at all, but it can be seen. But it's not sad when there's there's nobody.
Yeah.
The whole energy of the person is just to be a person, the whole energy of the individual is just to be an individual. That's what it is. And when the individual let's say engages with, say, this or anything else, whatever else it is looking to be fed. That's what the person is doing. And 99.9% of the time, it's fed in some way by either being their belief system being verified as right, or finding an opposite to their belief system to which they can fight against, or whatever it is. And that's the way the whole thing. This is totally different, because the individual is not seen here at all, and therefore it's enormously confronting to the person, because they desperately want to be seen, and they can't be seen here because they're not recognized. They're not recognized because there is already only unconditional love, which is nothing being everything. And that is absolutely boundless. It's stunning beyond any description. And for the person, the apparent person, it can be horrendously confronting, horrendously. And that is unconditional love. That's what unconditional love is seeing you as only already everything being nothing. It appears, it can appear as all sorts of things for the person. But it appears in stark contrast to what they understand as empathy, love, compassion, which are only things that feed them and recognize them.
Yeah. It was really, I'm really grateful for this, I don't know what to call it, space, whatever. Because even during the retreat, mostly during the second sections, there was this really, something happens. I don't even know what it is or how to put it into words, but to me it seemed a lot like constantly pointing that this is unsubstantial. It's kind of the same over and over and over and over and over and over. That it's kind of, and that feels, I don't even want to say feels great, but I mean, it's just whatever.
When it resonates, there's an energy to this that's is indescribable. It's totally boundless and free. It's absolutely stunning, and there's nothing to do with anybody. It's nothing to do with Kenneth. Nothing to do with anybody, because there is no person. There is no separate person.
Yeah.
It's nobody's communication. It's absolutely stunning, and how this is heard is how it is heard, which is the amazing thing about this. It has no agenda whatsoever. So this can be heard like that. It can be heard in 10 seconds. It can be what's being suggested here. In 1 minute, it could be just, oh my God. It could be like that, or it could be over the course of apparent days or whatever, or it could be that it's not heard and it's, oh, this is a load of bullshit. And that's also just unconditional love. It's amazing. It's just whatever it appears to be. And it's all energetic. It's totally energetic. It's not to do with any kind of understanding. In the longer kind of days, it can be that when it can resonate, and the longer days kind of appear to resonate more because there's a kind of a sitting in it, nobody sitting in it, but there's it's impossible to describe it. And what you notice also is the questions come, and then tends to be kind of less questions, because obviously there's no answer to any question. But it's not, the person feels there's an answer to their question, and actually it's that there isn't even a question. There's just obviously just whatever appears to be.
Yeah,
the question
actually,
comes from the me.
When I first started listening to this, and it was completely, bunch of new concepts, words, you're paying attention to the words, whatever. But that was exactly my observation, that it was constant, like, questions. But there would sometimes just be this openness of, I don't know where, but it seemed like in the meeting the questions would die and everything just I mean, now that's how, whatever, but it's just the whole thing gets empty of whatever noises or whatever. And it just, and also, during the retreat, it's just it just kind of drains whatever the meaning or the impulses or the seeking energy maybe kind of falls down or drains, and it goes out of the picture completely. It kind of it's not there.
Yeah. Well, and there's no retreat, and there's no Zoom meeting now, and there's always, it's very, there's only ever there's always only energy, and energy is everything being nothing and nothing being everything. And it's so ordinary what's sought. It's not innate. There's no such thing as non-duality or liberation or any of these. They're pointers, they're words that suggest something or point towards something. What is yearned for by the person is inescapable. It's always in what appears to happen, always. And that's amazing. It's not that someone can attend a virtual retreat and then they'll fall away or appear to fall away or whatever. It's that already is nobody, no matter what appears to happen.
Oh yeah.
And that can be seen at any point. At any point, yeah.
But in a sense, I mean, it's just a little there's an intensity to it that, I mean, I'm just saying,
there is.
There's an intensity, an energy.
There's an energy
that's kind of like,
there's an energy to what's being communicated. Yeah. And there can be an openness to it.
Yeah.
But that openness it's just, there either is an openness or there isn't. It's not something that the person kind of hears about this openness and they want to make themselves open. They want to open themselves, and then that's the spirituality stuff, that you can open yourself to oneness and all this nonsense.
Would you say because there isn't anyone controlling ever what appears to happen?
There's nobody there, yeah. So there's already nobody
it's
there.
impossible to and all the connecting the mind does, like, oh, now I'm more me because of blah blah. All of that goes out the window because it's kind of, it's just, I don't know,
Well, there's
whatever.
never a me. There's just there's already just what appears to happen. There can't be a readiness cultivated, because that would then mean there's somebody there who can make themselves ready.
Yeah. And one last thing I want to say, I always feel nervous talking here.
And it is the nervousness. That's
It's
lovely.
okay.
That's lovely. It
I
is
mean,
already the nerve, like it's beautiful. That's the
not-
beautiful thing about what's being said here. There's only already
It is
wholeness,
true.
unconditional love. And if that is nervousness, and that's the free fall then. That's the total free fall, is that no matter what it is that appears to happen, that's it. So if it's nervousness, okay, there's nervousness. Whereas the person feels, yeah, oh, not so much. I don't like the nervousness. And then I want to, when I'm not nervous in a Zoom call, then I'll be there then, or whatever.
Yeah.
Nervousness is just energy.
And I forgot what I want to say. uh, I quite like you mentioned that there's an in and out, so to speak, throughout the day, because I think, and this you may say that's not what you speak about, but I used to go folk dancing before the pandemic, and it's almost as if I have a feeling in any kind of body activity where the whole body is involved, and there's even walking or skiing or just or dancing. That the example was dancing. You begin to dance, and it's as if your head is like left, not you leaving your head on
Yeah, no, I know exactly what
thingy,
you mean. Yeah,
but
there's
it's
just kind of the
just the
activity that appears to
music.
happen. Yeah.
I mean, just the rhythm. It's just the music that is doing the whole thing. I mean, the body moves, but it moves
And
as it
that's the
moves. So
amazing
there's
thing is,
nobody there.
the amazing thing is that's
Yeah.
always the case, that there's nobody there.
Yeah.
There's already nobody there. But then when there is a sense of there being someone there, it's an artificial addition to what's appearing to happen. It's amazing.
But my feeling is that it's just an assumption that if the body is working, let's say like a big oven or something, like so much, it almost, there's no room or time for the meat to get in there and start thinking or saying or whatever. That's just a theory.
Well, it's different for every
an
apparent person.
observation.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
different for every apparent person. That sense of me just plays out differently for everyone. Some people would always kind of feel there. Some people have like a continuous agitated kind of sense of being there, and it's quite dissatisfying. It's and that in that is the invitation to see they're already not there, but it can be very uncomfortable for some. Sleep is the only respite for some.
Yeah. I
That's
guess
the way, and that's the way it is, and that's the way it will appear to be until it doesn't.
Yeah.
Oh, bodies swayed to music, oh brightening glance. How do we know the dancer from the dance?
Totally, it's just I can't describe it, but it's great. It's so great because it's just the rhythm, and it's just bodies moving.
People get lost in all sorts of things, like, and they would feel that they get lost in the activity. And another way of seeing it is that it's not that they get lost in the activity, it's that they're never there, but that sense, that artificial sense of being there, can just kind of appear to not be there or not be as strong. So there's dancing or there's running, or some people it's more of for some people it's the artistic kind of things like drawing or whatever. Extreme sports are another example, or that kind of stuff. There's nobody jumping off a bridge, I can tell you. There's just jumping off the bridge, like, and it's why it's very addictive then for some as well. But yeah, there's all sorts of things that and people would talk about kind of getting out of their own way. that in music, and when they get out of their own way, they make the best music. And it's not that they're getting out of their own way, it's just that sense of kind of that contracted sense of them kind of filtering everything doesn't appear to be there then. There's one musician I saw, his name is Kelly Joe Phelps, he's from Oregon, and I saw him way back, maybe 20 years ago now actually, and he just completely blew me away, completely and utterly. I'd never heard anything like it. Stunning music, and I really felt that he wasn't there. There was literally, I felt that from when I first heard him. I felt that there was just the music, and when I ever read anything about him, people would say it's like he's channeling something. He's just like,
Totally,
he's
yeah, I
not
know
there.
what you're talking about.
And
It takes over. It's just
it takes over, yeah. And it was
it
amazing.
flows, yeah,
It stunning.
flows.
And then when I heard him,
yeah.
and then I went back to try and hear him again, I tried to replicate the experience I had the first time, and I could feel myself listening to the music, and it was extremely, extremely dissatisfying. I couldn't stop it then. Once it was there, I couldn't stop it, because I wanted to be lost in the music and be blown away again, like the first time. But it wasn't like that. I could hear, and the music was amazing, but I could feel myself hearing the music. And it was and I could not figure that out or what that was about. It was kind of like a consciousness or an awareness or something. But I read an interview with him recently, or heard an interview, I can't remember which, probably heard an interview. And he describes his love of me. He doesn't actually perform anymore, but he described the being on stage and then just not being there anymore. And that was his love of performing, that there was just the music. And then that's what I heard the first time I heard. And then that's what kind of echoes what we're speaking about here, is just this. And when it just kind of speaks of something, that's why it can totally resonate with apparent people then, because it's got a boundless energy to it, which is already all there is anyway.
One last thing, I promise. When you were saying the love of music or whatever, I have a feeling, I could be wrong, of course, but sometimes I connected with two girls on Zoom a few times, a month ago, and we started speaking about things I love, and it was just this explosiveness to it, which was like, it is the same thing. It seems like it takes over, and it starts erupting in this like, I don't know. And then I feel like embarrassed because it's like too much. But it's kind of, I think it's sort of the same thing when there's love of something. It kind of starts rushing, gushing, I don't know, whatever, just it doesn't matter.
But also, just to
I'll
say,
shut up.
also what's being said here, well, you're not talking, so what's being said here is not an experience, though. It's not a state or an experience. Just like all of what was said here about all of those things are just kind of pointing towards something, but it's not an experience. It's not the person can hear this and think that it's just kind of a state of somebody who's not there. Or any experiences are just for the person, are irrelevant actually. So anyway, thanks everybody.
Thank you.
I put a link in the chat. Thanks, Maria. I put a link if anyone would like to contribute. Put it in the chat. Thanks so much. Very enjoyable.
Thank you.
I'll
Still
speak to
love
all
you.
soon.
Thank you, Kenneth.
Thanks,
Thank
Kenneth.
you.
Bye.
Thanks, guys. Take
Thank
care.
you.
Bye.